Hello everyone. Today we're gonna talk about stem cell, and hopefully for today you are doing good. Okay, so let's begin. Before we talk about the detail about stem cell, you need to know what stem cell is. Every human body is made up specialized cell that perform specific function. For example, we have muscle that work to make our body move. We have lung for our breathing. So it's those organ that I have told you before made from specialized cell. And these specialized cells come from the differentiation of unspecialized cell during embryonic development. The example is like this. So when the egg and the sperm fuse together become an individuals, and then these individuals will develop into a certain type of body component. For example, in individual there must be a blood, there must be a bone, there must be a glands, and also a nerve. So now, what are stem cells? Stem cells are unspecialized cells that have the ability to reproduce and also differentiate into diverse range of specialized cells. Means because it's unspecialized, so it can be anything in our body. It could be become muscle, it could be skin, it could be lung, heart, and many things, as long as it's inside our body. So why stem cell become so special? Because they are be able to make the new stem cells, and then they can also differentiate into specialized cell type. This is stem cell, and then stem cell they can make a new stem cell by reproduction, and then they can also specialize by making a new type of cell. For example, I gave you here is the example of the neuron. Stem cell can become many type of cell in the body. We call it as pluripotent, means the cell can be anything. And this skill or this ability of pluripotent, we can find it in embryonic stem cell. The other type, we have what we call as multipotent. So what is multipotent? Multipotent is the ability of stem cell that can become only few type of cells. And we can find it in a tissue, for example, in the blood, in the lungs, in the nerve, in the brain. So as long as it has been become tissue, we can find it the stem cell. So the function of stem cell in the tissue is that they be able to replace the damaged cell on that existing tissue. This is the type of stem cell. We have two. The first one is embryonic, and then the second one is adult stem cell. So now let's see the embryonic one, embryonic stem cells. The embryonic stem cells are derived mostly from embryo, about 4 or 5 days old, and the other name we call it as blastocyst. And then these cells have the ability to differentiate into the cell that make up of an organism, means it could be anything. So let's see the picture here. This is the embryonic stem cell, and this embryonic stem cell, when it's differentiate, it could change into anything. It could change into nerve, into muscles, into gut cells, and even a whole organism. So where do we get it? Mostly, we get it from the donated excess of IVF, which is in vitro fertilization. So, in vitro fertilization, most of the time, the researcher make more than one cell, and then the unused cell they can donate it for the uh, embryonic stem cell, which is coming from those in vitro fertilization. And from the picture, we can see when we have in vitro fertilization, the fertilized egg will divide, and when it's come to become blastocyst around day 6, this is what we're gonna use for embryonic stem cell. And the part that we use, we call it as inner cell mass. The inner cell mass can be grown in the laboratory and then in the condition which is unspecialized. And this condition, they keep it for certain period of time as long as the researcher can maintain the condition, and then This condition, like I told you before, we call it as pluripotent, and it can be very useful. The ability of pluripotent, for example, in restoring the function in transplantation of organ transplantation. So it's very useful. And again, like I told you before, because embryonic stem cell is pluripotent, so it can be anything in the body. Now we have another type. We call it as adult stem cells. So the adult stem cell is adult tissue that found in number of tissue in our body, and it could be found anywhere, like in our brain, bone, skin, skeletals, and the ability of this adult stem cell is a bit limited because they have differentiation before. That's why the capability not as much as the embryonic stem cell. The type, which is the stem cell that coming from the umbilical cord. Umbilical cord, when the new baby born, don't read out the cord, because the cord consists of blood, and the blood is consisting stem cell, which is very important. The last we have, this is quite different from the previous one, because previous one mostly come from natural process of stem cell. This one, what we call as induced pluripotent stem cell, is actually modified in the lab, so in the laboratory. So in this case, it's a mature cell. The genetic or the capability is modified by inserting certain virus, and this virus will change the genetics mechanism inside, and by changing this genetic mechanism, the cell can be able to reprogram, and the reprogrammed cell be able to differentiate into certain type of cells. So because this process is induced or uh, influenced by human treatment, that's why we call it as induced pluripotent stem cell, means the ability is induced. Okay, so I guess that's all for stem cell for today. So hopefully you know. Let me review about stem cell. The first is that stem cell is unspecialized cell which is existing in our body, and we can have it from our tissue. And in terms of type, we have three type. The first one is embryonic stem cell, second one is adult stem cell, and the third one is induced pluripotent stem cell. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next time. Bye.